a big turtle.
Did you know that Hon Kiem Lake has a golden turtle?
Wow, Dad, if I swim in the lake, will I see the turtle?
Haha, I would like to see you try. Have you ever heard about its legend?
No, Dad, tell me, tell me.
Once upon a time, in the early 1400s, there lived a real person named Leloy, who began a dynasty that lasted 360 years. Vietnam has a myth of its own, like in your bedtime stories.
My bedtime stories? I know this one, Dad. I know this one. Continue, continue.
Yes, Jade, apparently we are descendants of a sea dragon, a mountain fairy, and they worship the Dragon King, who just happened to possess a magical sword. The sword had two parts, the blade and handle. The blade was discovered by Lethon, a fisherman in Thanh Hoa province. He believed he caught a big fish, when actually it was the blade of the sword. He tried tossing it back into the water, but every time he did it, it ended up in his net again.
Dad, every time? I think it's fate, Dad. What did he do next?
This blade won't go back in. Guess I have to bring it home.
Meanwhile, Leloy was setting out to assemble an army. While recruiting from the surrounding villages, he visited the Thanh Hoa province, happening to stop at Le Tan's home.
Yes? Who's there?
Le Tan opens his door to find Emperor Leloy. Though the interior of his house was dimly lit, the blade unexpectedly emitted a shimmering glow in Leloy's presence.
Your Majesty, a few weeks back, I found a mysterious blade and it seemed to be excited that you were here. I would be honored if you would take it.
Of course I would, my kind fellow subject.
Thus, Le Tan sold the sword to Emperor Leloy inscribed with the words Tuan Tên, according to heaven's will, as it was fate.
Leloy carried the blade with him everywhere, except there was one big problem. Do you know what that is, Jade?
No, Dad. What was it?
Leloy only had the blade of the sword, which made it very dangerous to grasp. During the war with the Ming army, in order to escape them, Leloy concealed himself by climbing up a banyan tree.
They can't possibly spot me here. I'm already quite high up the tree.
While he looks around him, Leloy finds a familiar-looking designed hilt.
Wait a second. What is this? Could this be the yin to my yang of my sword? Finally! I guess it was all worth it.
Imbued with magic, Tuan Tên, the sword, enlarged Leloy to the size of giants, giving him the strength of 1,000 men. The sword brought Leloy one victory after another until he was able to vanquish the invading Chinese army. That is so cool, Dad. I wish I could have met him. But where is the sword now? Is it still with him?
Actually, Jade, after the war, Leloy rode out into Luk Thoi, Green Water Lake, and met the golden turtle god, Kim Koi.
Oh yes, the golden turtle.
Do you want to know what the turtle did next?
Yes! The awesome golden turtle asked Leloy to return the sword to its divine owner, lest it corrupt him. The noble emperor drew the sword and cast it into the lake. Kim Koi caught the sword in its mouth and retreated to the bottom of the lake to never be seen again. To celebrate this extraordinary event, Leloy renamed the lake Hon Kiem, Lake of the Restored Sword, and the stone structure that rises from a small islet in the lake. As we all know, the Thap Roa, or Turtle Tower, was to honor Kim Koi, the magical aquatic guardian of the sword. That was a great story, Dad.
The other time, I saw a magazine that had a passage about child labor in Vietnam. What is child labor?
Ooh, child labor is about people kidnapping children so that they are forced to do work without these people having paying them anything, and they treat them extremely cruelly.
But Dad, don't those children have to come to school like me?
Well, yeah, but child labor limits access to these people to education. That way, they live terrible lives.
Well, is Vietnam doing anything to help them?
Well, yeah. Vietnam is having a 5-year program that aims to kill child labor entirely. But this doesn't mean that you and I can't do anything about it. Our role is to spread awareness to people and to tell them that Vietnam is doing these terrible things. Do you understand, Jay?
Yes, Dad. Well, is there anything else in Vietnam that's happening that we don't know of?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of things. But I'll tell you two. One is food safety and food hygiene.
Food safety? Why would food need to be safe?
Well, a long time ago, when Dad was in primary school, I loved to eat noodles from the roadside. But then, in the noodles, there were veggies and herbs that I didn't know about. But they were made from chemicals and pesticides that were very terrible to my health.
Then what happened?
Well, then Dad had a really bad tummy ache. But Jade, imagine, if tons of people ate noodles just like I did, how many people would have tummy aches everywhere, right?
That would be a lot of people.
Exactly. So, Jade, tell me, what have you learned about food safety?
Well, that even though food is just food, it still needs to be safe so that we can take care of our health and avoid any illnesses from consuming unhealthy or unclean food.
Yes. But what about child labor?
That even though Vietnam has already created a program for child labor, it does not mean that we should not create more awareness about it or just discourage it.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Jade. Wow, I can't believe you're that smart. Well, Jade, let me tell you about another thing.
Dad, I think that's enough for today. We can't keep those people waiting.
Yeah, I guess you're right. These people have been waiting for the big thing that's gonna happen later. Alright, Jade, say goodbye to these people.
Thank you for joining me and Papa today, and we hope you learned something like I did. Enjoy the rest of your time here. Bye bye!